My husband doted on me, loved me more than life itself, or so I thought. One day, I came home early and found a candlelit dinner. Set for two. But I was supposed to be out of town. My blood ran cold when I saw my husband sitting across from a life-size doll. That looked exactly like me. Trembling, I asked, "What is this?" He smiled. "This is the version of you that will never leave me." I took a step back, but he whispered, "Don't worry, my love. Soon, you'll be just like her." My name's Rachel. I'm 42. My husband Ethan is 45. We've been married 17 years, lived just outside Asheville, North Carolina, in a quiet neighborhood tucked between trees and winding back roads. It was the kind of place where neighbors wave but mind their business. Nothing ever felt urgent there. Peaceful. Safe. That's what I thought. Ethan always told people I was his whole world. He'd go on about how I saved him from himself, how I gave his life purpose. He was affectionate, thoughtful to a fault. The first few years, it felt amazing. He brought me flowers just because. Left notes on the bathroom mirror. Cooked dinner almost every night. It was sweet, even flattering. But over time, it started to feel too much. He didn't like when I went out with friends. He said he missed me too much when I traveled for work. He'd call 5, 6 times a day when I was gone. Said he just needed to hear my voice. I'd laugh it off, but deep down it made me feel trapped. Like I couldn't breathe. Still, I didn't think much of it. Lots of couples go through stuff. I figured it was just a phase. We were solid. I thought. Back in September, I had to take a short work trip to Winston-Salem. 2 nights. It was supposed to be longer, but one of the meetings got canceled, so I decided to drive back that night and surprise Ethan. I didn't call. I just wanted to be home, to sleep in my own bed. It was around 8 when I got back. Our street was quiet. The house was mostly dark except for a soft light in the dining room. I figured he was watching TV or something. Then I noticed the smell. Chicken. Rosemary. My favorite. It hit me hard, warm and rich, just like when he used to cook when we were dating. There was music too, soft piano, the same playlist he always put on during date nights. I was smiling as I walked in. I thought maybe he'd planned a surprise dinner for when I got back. I wasn't ready for what I saw next. The dining room was lit up by candlelight. The table was set for 2. Cloth napkins. Wine glasses. Food plated perfectly. Like something out of a magazine. Ethan was sitting at the table, smiling. His back was straight, hands folded, looking across the table at someone. But it wasn't someone. It was a doll. A life-size, hyper-realistic doll. Sitting up straight in the chair across from him, wearing the red blouse I hadn't seen in years. My red blouse. The one I wore on our anniversary in 2019. The doll's hair was styled like mine. Its skin was my exact tone. Even the necklace, it had a little gold pendant that Ethan gave me for my birthday 3 years ago. At first, I thought it was a sick joke. My chest tightened. I couldn't move. I stepped forward and whispered, "Ethan." He looked up slowly. His smile didn't fade. "You're home early," he said, like everything was fine. I pointed at the doll. "What is that?" He stood, walked around the table like he was proud to show me. "This," he said, touching the doll's shoulder gently, "is the version of you that never argues. That never leaves. That always listens." My legs nearly gave out. "What the hell is wrong with you?" He tilted his head. "Why are you upset?" I backed up. My mouth was dry. Why do you have that?" He stepped closer. His voice was calm, too calm. "Because I can't lose you." I was shaking. "You need help." "I don't need help," he said. "I need you. And now, I finally have the version of you that never leaves me." My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear myself speak. This isn't love. This is sick. Ethan's smile dropped. Just for a second. Then it came back, thinner. "Don't worry, my love," he whispered. "Soon, you'll be just like her." I ran. Straight to my car. Drove to a friend's house. I didn't sleep that night. I just kept seeing that thing sitting at the table. The fake me. Smiling. But that's not even the worst part. The next morning, I went to the police. They said there wasn't much they could do. It's weird, yeah, the officer told me, but it's not illegal to own a doll, ma'am. I told them he was dangerous. That he threatened me. That he said I'd be just like her. They told me to get a restraining order if I felt unsafe. Said I should stay somewhere else for a while. But I wasn't going to run. Not anymore. Ethan wanted control. He wanted a perfect wife who never left. Who never said no. Who always smiled and nodded and kept her mouth shut. Well, he was about to see just how wrong he was. I didn't go back home that week. I stayed with my friend Trina in Hendersonville. She's been through hell with her ex, so she didn't ask a lot of questions, just handed me a glass of wine and let me sleep in her guest room. I couldn't eat. Could barely sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that doll. My face. My clothes. My husband smiling like it was the most normal thing in the world. I called a lawyer. Got a consultation. Started the paperwork for a restraining order. But even that wasn't easy. Ethan hadn't technically done anything illegal. No bruises. No threats in writing. Just words. Creepy, chilling words. Not enough for a judge, apparently. I'll keep you updated, the lawyer said, but don't wait on the system to protect you. If you feel unsafe, stay away. It made me sick. This man built a fake version of me. Told me I'd become like her. And the law had nothing to say about it. The weird thing was, Ethan didn't try to call. Not once. No texts. No voicemails. It was like he thought I'd just come crawling back. Like I belonged there. On the 5th day, I drove back to the house, but not alone. Trina came with me. She parked down the street in case anything went sideways. I had my phone recording the whole time. I told her to call the police if I didn't come out in 10 minutes. I walked up the porch steps slow, heart hammering in my chest. The key still worked. I pushed the door open. It was quiet. Too quiet. The dining room looked the same. Like no one had touched a thing. Candles melted down. Wine glasses still out. The doll was gone. I checked every room. Nothing. Not even Ethan. When I got to the bedroom, I stopped cold. The closet was empty. Everything of mine gone. Clothes. Shoes. Jewelry. All of it. Just hangers left swaying. On the bed was a printed photo. It was a picture of me sleeping. Taken from the side of the bed. My hair was messy, and I was hugging my pillow the way I always do. The timestamp said 2:08 a.m. 2 nights ago. I felt bile rise in my throat. He was in Trina's house. Watching me. I called Trina and told her to get me the hell out of there. We drove straight to the sheriff's office and showed them the photo. This time, they listened. They got a temporary protection order approved. Told me they'd try to track him down. But by then, Ethan was gone. I changed every password. Locked down my bank accounts. Froze my credit. Bought cameras for Trina's house. Still couldn't sleep. Then one night, Trina went out for groceries. I was alone. And the power went out. I waited in the dark, holding a kitchen knife. Every sound made my skin crawl. Then my phone buzzed. One message. No number. I miss you. She misses you too. Attached was a photo. The doll, propped up on a new bed, wearing my wedding dress. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Ethan wanted the perfect version of me? Fine. Let's see how perfect things go when I flip the game on him. I wasn't scared anymore. I was angry. He'd been in Trina's house. He took a photo of me while I slept. And now he was sending pictures of that thing, wearing my wedding dress. Ethan had gone from clingy to full-on unhinged, and I knew hiding wasn't going to fix this. If I kept waiting for the law to do something, he'd just keep circling closer. Watching. Waiting. So I made a plan. I started by doing the one thing Ethan wouldn't expect. I played along. I texted back. Where are you? No answer. I miss you too. Still nothing. I want to talk. 5 hours later, I got a reply. You know where we belong. That was it. No location, no details. But I knew Ethan. I knew how his brain worked. That message wasn't random. He used to talk about our spot, a cabin about 40 minutes south of Asheville in the woods near Pisgah Forest. We went there twice a year. No phone signal. Just trees, old books, and quiet. He loved it there. Always said, if everything falls apart, we'll go here and start over. It was the only place that made sense. So I went. Not blindly. I brought a stun gun, pepper spray, and Trina's old revolver. She used to work security. Still had the license. I made sure 2 friends had my location and instructions to call the police if they didn't hear from me every hour. This wasn't a rescue mission. It was a confrontation. When I pulled up to the cabin, the place looked abandoned. No car. Just overgrown grass and the front porch sagging a little more than I remembered. The windows were dark. I walked up the steps, gun in hand, ready to run or fight or both. The door was unlocked. Inside, it was quiet. Too quiet. The kind that made your skin crawl. Then I heard something. A slow, mechanical creaking. From the bedroom. I crept down the hallway, every step louder in my head than the last. I opened the door. And there she was. The doll. Sitting up on the bed, head tilted to the side. Same red blouse. Hair combed. Lips painted into a soft smile. But there was something new. A camera. She had a camera on her chest. A tiny one. Blinking red. Recording. Before I could move, I heard Ethan's voice. Not from the hallway, from a speaker in the corner. You found us, he said, his voice hollow through the old speaker. I knew you would. I looked around. No sign of him. Why are you doing this? I shouted. Where are you? I'm not far, he said. I wanted to give you time to adjust. It's hard, I know, letting go of the loud parts of yourself. But that's okay. I've helped her. I can help you too. I'm not doing this, I said. I'm not playing this sick game. I love you, he said. But the real you left me. This version? She stayed. She listens. She smiles. I just want the best parts of you. Then the camera on the doll blinked twice and turned off. I tore through the cabin. No sign of him. But in the back closet, I found something worse. Multiple dolls. Half finished. Some without hair. One with my face, but the wrong eyes. Another in a box with arms detached. A third, naked, with a tag that read version 4, too defiant. My stomach turned. This wasn't just obsession. This was a project. A mission. He'd been trying to build me. Over and over. I got the hell out of there and called the cops. They showed up 2 hours later. Searched the place. Found fingerprints, clothes, that damn speaker setup. But Ethan? Gone. Again. They put out a notice. Escalated the investigation. But they were always one step behind him. Because Ethan was smart. Quiet. Careful. And now he knew I was fighting back. It took 6 more weeks. 6 long, sleepless weeks where I checked over my shoulder every time I walked outside. Where I jumped when the doorbell rang. Where I kept a weapon in every room of Trina's house just in case. I stopped working. Couldn't focus. My boss was understanding, but I could feel things slipping. My life wasn't mine anymore. Ethan had taken it, without touching me, without laying a finger. He'd pulled every string and left me afraid to exist. But I wasn't just sitting still. I hired a private investigator. Cost me more than I could really afford, but I needed someone who would really look, not just file a report and move on. The PI found something the police didn't. Ethan had drained one of our joint retirement accounts, quietly over months. Transferred it into some new account I hadn't noticed. Then used that to buy supplies. Electronics. Materials. Multiple shipping addresses. One of them in a small town outside Chattanooga, Tennessee. That was the break. The PI gave the location to the police. They sat on it for 2 more weeks. Said they had to wait for a warrant. Said they had to do it the right way. I didn't wait. I drove there myself. It was a rundown trailer, sitting at the edge of a wooded lot. Looked like it hadn't been lived in for years. But there were signs. Fresh tire marks. A small camera above the door. I didn't knock. I walked around the side, saw the window open just enough. Slipped in through the back. Quiet. Inside, it smelled like plastic and sweat. A small bed. A desk full of wires. And the worst part, 4 dolls, hanging from the ceiling by metal hooks. Each one looked a little more like me. I turned to leave, and there he was. Ethan. Standing in the hallway, holding a knife. He didn't speak. Just stared at me with something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Not anger. Not love. Delusion. I raised the gun. He stepped forward. "Don't," I said. "I will shoot you." He smiled. "You wouldn't hurt me. You don't know me anymore." He lunged. I pulled the trigger. The shot hit his shoulder. He screamed, dropped the knife, stumbled back. I ran past him and out the door. Called 911, screaming into the phone, telling them where I was, what happened. They got there in 10 minutes. He was still alive, bleeding, sobbing on the ground, begging me to forgive him. The police arrested him on the spot. They found more at the trailer: journals, photos, detailed plans of our house, my friend's house. A list of names and dates. Testing loyalty, he'd written. Fixing flaws. He was charged with stalking, unlawful surveillance, breaking and entering, identity fraud, and attempted kidnapping. Eventually, they added attempted murder when they tied him to the sabotage of Trina's power box. He'd planned to take me while the house was dark. Ethan's in prison now. 20 years minimum. He cried during the sentencing. Said I'd ruined him. Said all he ever wanted was for us to be together. Maybe he loved me. Maybe he just loved control. I don't care anymore. But I wasn't innocent in all of this either. I let things slide for too long. I made excuses. I ignored the signs. Every time he got too intense, too possessive, I told myself it was just love. That it would get better. That I owed him patience. But love doesn't stalk. It doesn't control. It doesn't build replacements when you walk away. Sometimes I still see that doll in my dreams. Sitting there. Smiling. Waiting. But I don't run anymore. I sleep with the doors locked. I carry protection. I've started therapy. And when people ask why I don't date, I tell them the truth. Because once, I loved a man who loved me too much. And he almost turned me into a doll.